You know that smell? You pull into a gas station, and before you even open the car door, it hits you. That sharp, heavy scent that coats the back of your throat. Most people assume it is just what gasoline smells like. It is not. Gasoline has almost no smell on its own. What you are smelling was put there deliberately by people who wanted to save your life. Here's the thing about natural gas, the kind that heats your home, powers your stove, runs through pipes under every street in every city in the world. It is completely odorless, colorless too. You cannot see it. You cannot smell it. If it leaks into a room, you will not know. You will just start to feel lightheaded, then sleepy, then you will not wake up. For most of the early 20th century, that was the reality. Gas lines ran through homes and factories and schools across the United States and Europe. And when they leaked, people died. Not because the gas was difficult to detect, because it was impossible to detect. There was nothing to detect. The danger was invisible and odorless, and it moved silently through walls and ceilings until something ignited it. Then came March 18th, 1937. New London, Texas, a school district so wealthy from local oil money that it had built one of the largest rural school buildings in the United States. Nearly 500 students attended that day. The school had recently switched its heating system to tap directly into a residue gas line from a nearby oil company. It was cheaper than buying gas commercially. Nobody thought much of it. At 3:17 in the afternoon, a spark from a sanding machine in the basement ignited gas that had been accumulating undetected throughout the building for days. The explosion lifted the entire roof off the structure. Walls collapsed outward. A concrete slab the size of a house was thrown 200 feet. 295 people died. Most of them were children. Investigators found that the gas leak had been severe enough that it should have been obvious. The smell should have been overwhelming, except there was no smell. Nobody had known. Nobody could have known. The New London disaster did not just shock the country, it changed it. Within years, legislation across the United States required that a chemical odorant be added to all natural gas distributed to consumers. Not as a quality marker, not as a regulatory formality, as a direct response to 295 people who had no warning. The chemical they chose was ethanethiol. It is also called ethyl mercaptan. Consider how seriously the industry took the problem of detectability. Ethanethiol is one of the most potent smelling substances on Earth. The human nose can detect it at concentrations of 1 part per billion. That is 1 molecule of ethanethiol for every billion molecules of air. To put that in context, you can smell ethanethiol at concentrations so low that measuring equipment struggles to confirm it is there. Animals can detect it at even lower concentrations. Skunks produce a related compound as their primary defense. The entire chemical family, emercaptans, exists at the extreme end of human olfactory sensitivity. Evolution made us exceptionally good at noticing them, probably because sulfur compounds in nature often indicate rotting meat or dangerous environments. The gas industry took the most detectable substance they could find, added it to a completely odorless fuel in tiny amounts, and created an early warning system that works on every human being, regardless of age, attention, or circumstance. You do not have to be paying attention to smell a gas leak. Your brain does it automatically. Less than 1 pound of ethanethiol is needed to odorize over 60,000 cubic feet of natural gas. The amount added is so small it contributes nothing to combustion, nothing to toxicity, nothing to the chemical composition of the fuel itself. It exists in the gas for one reason only, so you will notice before it kills you. Now here is where the gas station comes back in. What you smell at a petrol station is not exactly the same thing. Natural gas and petrol are different fuels with different compositions. The sharp smell at a filling station is a combination of compounds, not a single added odorant. Some of it is ethanethiol from residual gas, but most of it is something else entirely. When liquid petrol is exposed to air, it evaporates. As it evaporates, it releases volatile organic compounds into the air around it: benzene, toluene, xylene. These are the compounds responsible for the characteristic petrol smell that many people find oddly pleasant. That slight, dizzy warmth when you lift the pump nozzle. The heavy scent that clings to your clothes if you stand too close. Here is the part nobody tells you. Benzene is a known human carcinogen. It is classified by the World Health Organization as a Group 1 substance, meaning there is sufficient evidence that it causes cancer in humans. The specific cancer most associated with benzene exposure is leukemia. There is no established safe level of exposure. The smell that some people actively enjoy, the petrol station scent that can trigger a kind of nostalgia, is partly caused by a carcinogen evaporating into the air they are breathing. The pleasant feeling is partly the mild neurological effect of benzene entering the bloodstream through inhalation. Occasional brief exposure at a filling station is not a meaningful health risk, but mechanics, fuel workers, and people who work at or near petrol stations with regular, prolonged exposure have measurably higher rates of certain cancers. The smell is not just atmosphere, it is real chemistry affecting your body in real time. One more thing worth knowing about mercaptans before you go. Ethanethiol is not only an industrial additive, it occurs naturally in garlic, in onions, in certain aged cheeses, in coffee. The compound that makes roasted coffee smell the way it does shares a chemical family with the compound added to natural gas. The sulfur compounds in cooked meat, in fermented foods, in wine, in truffles, these are all relatives of the same family of molecules the gas industry chose for its warning system. Your nose evolved to be extraordinarily sensitive to this entire class of compounds. Not because of gas leaks, because these smells, in the right concentrations, indicated food worth eating or danger worth avoiding. The gas industry did not invent a new warning system. It borrowed one that evolution had already spent millions of years perfecting. The smell at the petrol station was put there on purpose. The decision was made after children died because nobody could smell what was killing them. It is one of the more quietly important pieces of public safety infrastructure in daily life, so unremarkable that almost nobody thinks about it. Now you will. If you didn't know this, leave a comment. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Hit like if it was worth your time.